Hey, this is Antonio. Welcome back to my channel. We're going to have some fighting words. So if you checked out my recent video with Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury and the closing of the arbitration, well, then you would know that things may not be moving as, well, Tyson Fury, Joshua, Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren, Bob Arum have all thought it would go. So if the fight with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder takes place, okay, where does that leave Anthony Joshua? Well, it leaves him with his mandatory, Alexander Usyk. That's where it leaves. Now, I was thinking about doing a fight breakdown, but it's funny. Sometimes you just start thinking about a fight and my first thoughts on this fight are, does anybody want to see this fight? Does anybody want to see Anthony Joshua fight Alexander Usyk? Like, you see what happened last time. Anthony Joshua he wasn't intrigued or about a fight. Andy Ruiz knocked him out, so I don't know. Like, when I think about this fight, it's just my first instinct, and if this turns into a real thing, I will definitely make a fight breakdown. However, I also wanted to voice just my concern for who wants to see Anthony Joshua fight Alexander Usyk. I don't know who wants to see Anthony Joshua fight Alexander Usyk. I like both fighters. I think Usyk is a technician. I think he's the big guy version of Lomachenko, and I love AJ. But when you put those two together, you don't get like boom. You don't get spontaneous combustion. You don't, and that's my only worry about that fight. It's just gonna be like, okay, I don't think stylistically it will look like the Joshua Povetkin fight, because Povetkin's like much older, and honestly, Povetkin's over the hill, and he probably should not be fighting anymore. Even when he fought Anthony Joshua, he probably shouldn't have been fighting. Or Pulev, but I don't know who wants to see Anthony Joshua fight Alexander Usyk. I think Usyk is a technician. I think the man throws a quadrillion punches around, and he understands like footwork and all those things. I think he's great. I think if you want to understand who Alexander Usyk is, there is an interview right before Tony Bellew fought him, and he just gave Usyk such high praise. Like, he literally said he does everything right, and that's exactly who he is. The problem is, Usyk is a much smaller man fighting with juggernauts. That's the problem. And I'll prove it to you. His last outing with Derek Chisora, who is a lot older and doesn't have a handful of the skill that Alexander Usyk has, gave him problems. Not because Chisora is fast, because he's not. Not because he's some ring technician, because he's not. Not because he's some crafty, skilled fighter, because he's not. It's not because he does hit hard, but the way he fights, he's not in great position. Not for somebody like Usyk, who understands how to fight, who understands technique, who understands distance and those things. And yet, Usyk had trouble with Chisora. So when I look at that, I don't see good things. I don't know. Now I break that down to Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua is a lot younger than Derek Chisora. Anthony Joshua is bigger than Derek Chisora. Anthony Joshua is in better shape than Derek. And he's in better shape all year round. You've never seen Anthony Joshua like out of shape. It doesn't happen. So when you just put that into play, he couldn't back Derek Chisora off of him. What do you think is going to happen when that tank called Anthony Joshua is going to be up on him? I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. And keep in mind, Chisora gets tired, which is another reason why he couldn't apply that pressure throughout the entire fight. He wasn't going to win anyway if he didn't knock him out, because points-wise, Usyk throws a billion punches. But still, he gets tired. And Usyk could not put an older, washed-up, tired fighter away. What do you think he's going to do with someone younger, bigger, and stronger? And has better boxing skills than Derek. I just keep going back to who wants to see that fight. I mean, if he's a mandatory, we're going to see it regardless. Would I watch it? Yeah, because I like both fighters, and I think it would be pretty interesting to see how both fighters try to approach that puzzle in front of them. Can Usyk stay away from Joshua? Can Usyk? I don't think Usyk can hurt Anthony Joshua, and I don't think he has. I don't think he's an aggressive enough fighter to put enough pressure like Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz was a lot smaller, but he just naturally is a more aggressive fighter than Alexander Usyk. And I think if you're going to be that small, in there with somebody as strong and as good a finisher as AJ is, you need to be aggressive. Running around is not going to cut it. Running from him is not going to cut it. You need to be aggressive. You need to be very aggressive. You need to be like up in his face. You need to go there with a mindset of saying, either I'm going out on my shield or I'm taking him out tonight. But I'm not going to try to run and try to survive for 12 rounds and then hope all the stars are aligned and these judges love me or something like that. It's not going to happen. We already know the crowd is going to be a very pro AJ crowd. And I'm probably 100%, I don't even know if this fight is already set already, but I do know he's the mandatory. And if Fury and Wilder do take place, it does leave something for AJ to do. So therefore, his mandatory would be that something. Where is this fight going to take place? Obviously, it's going to take place in the UK because Anthony Joshua is a big draw. So again, it's not like Usyk is going to win a unanimous decision or anything with judges. Not in the UK, he isn't. That's laughable. That's like, somebody trying to go up against Canelo in California. In the 12th round of I wonder if I got the unanimous decision. No, you did not. We know that ahead of time. So you're not going to win that with Anthony Joshua. So you might as well just go for broke. I mean, you are going to get paid well because you're going to be fighting Anthony Joshua, but I say just go for broke. I don't know. I really don't know about this fight. I'm trying to find ways to be intrigued about this fight, and there's nothing about this fight that's intriguing. I just don't see what Alexander Usyk could do to Anthony Joshua to scare him, back him down, slow him up, confuse him. And they're not going to produce a ring big enough. Like I said, when you're dealing with this type of fight, it's going to be on UK soil. Pro AJ crowd, which means it might be an AJ type of ring. AJ, they don't want AJ chasing you all night. You're going to get a smaller ring. A bigger ring would work in Usyk's favor. A smaller ring would work for AJ, so that he can track you down and put you away, which is what every UK fan would like to see. They'd like to see him put you away because they're going to love AJ some more and scream his name out. And that's exactly what's going to happen. But I just don't feel excited about this fight. Because it's one thing if the odds are stacked against you. It's something else when they're just like a mound against you. And that's what I see in this fight. I don't see anything remotely positive for Usyk. He's going to have to be on his A++ game just to be in there, just to make it past round 6, 7. If he makes it to round 8, that's pretty impressive. If he makes it to round 12, that shows his skill. But I feel like if he makes it to round 12, he's going to be a really battered and bruised individual in the end of that fight. Like I said, if and when this fight turns into something more, an actual fight, again, this is all based on if the Wilder and Fury take place with their trilogy. It's really just something for AJ to do. I don't want to call Alexander Usyk, a guy who has so many accolades and so many accomplishments in the sport, like a to-do list or something to do in the meantime. But the reality is, in this scenario, he would be something to do in the meantime to keep AJ active and busy. But tell me what you think down below. And as always, please like and subscribe.